Have you ever been trying to get in the mood? You're hanging out with your spouse, you're having some really nice dialogue, and you're about to be kissing, and then his breath is really terrible. And it's all you can think about suddenly. I mean, that's never happened to me.
Oh, yeah.
Because Josh's breath smells like roses always. But that's something that we call a break when it comes to getting in the mood. And we're going to talk all about today accelerators and brakes and how we can use this information to really inform how we can make our intimate lives together more seamless, how we can connect more effectively. So stay tuned. This is the Road to Happiness podcast. We're your hosts, Josh and Cassie Spurlock. And on this podcast, we talk about the intersection of neuroscience and biblical framework and how that applies to your life so that you can live the abundant life that Jesus came to give you. Our sponsor is My Counselor Online, which is a leading provider in Christian counseling online. And I love this topic. This is such a fun topic to me, I think, because it gives you so much freedom. It says, hey, the things in your life that make it a challenge for you to connect are legitimate. And we should pay attention to those. And we should use that knowledge to help us connect.
Desire is like a black box for a lot of people, women in particular, but men also. Women's desire is like a black box to men.
I did this and it worked, but then I did the same thing and it didn't work.
Right. It can be very, very confusing because it can seem like, okay, this is a moving target that I'm trying to hit and I'm blindfolded and I've been spun around 3 times.
Yeah, it can feel demoralizing.
Yeah, it can be a little discouraging. And it's the same for women. Women be like, I don't understand my body. My body doesn't seem to want to cooperate with me. And what seems to work at one point in time doesn't seem to work at another point in time. And I don't really understand why. There doesn't seem to be a rhyme or reason. What is going on? And what's going on is actually understandable. We're going to unveil the secrets to what's going on in this podcast episode. So you're in luck. The reason why it seems confusing is of what we call a dual control theory around desire. If we only had an accelerator, then our experience would respond like we expect. We press the gas, it goes. We press the gas harder, it goes faster. Right?
Yes.
Straightforward, makes sense, works the way we would expect. But our sexual desire doesn't just have an accelerator, it also has a brake.
I'm thinking about stomping the accelerator and the brake at the same time.
Right. And this is an experience that we have that if you press the brake and you press the accelerator, the car doesn't go, but it just kind of goes blah, 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 blah. Okay. And we feel that at times, right? Yeah. That we can have things that are, pressing the accelerator for us, or things that maybe normally do it for us. Yes. Maybe our spouse is engaging in a way that normally turns us on or builds desire, but at the same time, we can have things in our life that are pressing the brakes for us. And so are those things pressing the accelerator? Are those things, quote unquote, working in that? Yes, they are. But they're being counteracted by things that are pressing the brake equally as hard or harder in a way that prevents those accelerators from being able to overcome the resistance created by those brakes. And so this is what creates the inconsistency in our experience. Why it seems like something works well one time, but it doesn't work another time, and there doesn't seem to be a rhyme or reason. But the truth is, you make sense. And your body makes sense and your response makes sense when you understand the whole picture. And so the key to mastering your desire is really learning your brakes and accelerators and how they influence each other.
Like so many things in life, it's being introspective, getting curious about how God's wired you and how you experience life's external circumstances, because there are so many variables, right? Like there's physical setting, there's emotional state, there's mental well-being, all these things, your body image thoughts. Are you rested? Like the spectrum is wild. How's your relationship with your spouse? How are you feeling in connection between the two of you? What are the circumstances of the days? Do you have kids that are awake and you can hear them outside? Like so many things. And so it's an opportunity to be very mindful, be introspective. God is inviting us to know ourselves. He wired so many incredible things into us and gives them to us as a gift for our information so that we can use it to benefit ourselves and our relationship.
Yeah, if you're new around here, what we're unpacking is chapter 10 of the book that we just put out, Feeling Sexy. Now, I'm a certified sex therapist, have done thousands of hours of sex therapy, and have just seen the really common things that couples struggle with. And we've distilled that information down into this book to kind of give you a perspective on sexual confidence and sexual desire that can really equip you to understand yourself, and with that information, know how to navigate your experience in a way that really enriches your sex life. So we're unpacking chapter 10, accelerators and brakes, is what this discussion is around. We go into much deeper detail in the book.
Yeah.
But understanding your context and the things that are accelerators in your context, things that include characteristics of your spouse, relationship dynamics, the physical setting that you're in, your life circumstances with work and church and all the other things kind of affecting you and your family at any given point in time, can all serve to be accelerators or brakes or a mix of those things.
Yes, usually a mix of those things.
Usually a mix of those things. And our brakes and accelerators, person to person, temperament wise, have different levels of sensitivity.
Totally. And if you're a little like, I don't know, when I was a teenager, I had like Teen Magazine and they always had like these little quizzes in there. And I thought they were so fun. And we wrote this little quiz in here about your accelerators and brakes. So if you're into that sort of thing, you'll love that.
It's a nerdy way of just kind of thinking about, how much do certain factors weigh in for me?
Yeah.
Yeah. And some gals have really sensitive accelerators, and they are easily turned on by a number of different things, and they have very insensitive brakes. And that's fine. Like that's just normal one of the mixes of temperament that we can experience. And then you have some folks that have the opposite side of the spectrum. And you have folks that have, accelerator that is not very sensitive and requires really specific context in order to press the gas, and maybe have more sensitive brakes because of their life experience and things that have happened.
Yeah.
And so for them, context matters a lot more, and knowing the aspects of context that position you to really enjoy connecting, be open to connecting sexually, have great experiences, are part of how you can make choices as a couple that really set you up for success. Because when you don't understand yourself and you don't understand your accelerators and brakes, it really is kind of like being blindfolded, spun around, and throwing, a knife at a moving target. Like it is exceedingly difficult to hit a bullseye in that context. But the mystery gets removed, and we kind of take it out of the black box when we get curious about our own experience and begin to make observations about what are the brakes? What are the accelerators? How can we share and collaborate as a couple on those things in order to be able to set us up for success and really empower our sex life?
I think one of the biggest things about this for me that feels so powerful is mitigating shame. Like if you have strong brakes and if you have not a sensitive accelerator and it feels very difficult to get in the mood and you feel like I love my husband. I want to connect. This is important to me. What is the problem? It can feel so shameful. And so I think just recognizing this maybe template for thinking through things can really empower you. And it's so precious and important. And it can really empower your spouse. You know, maybe they have felt like, well, she just never wants to. I don't know what to do and I'm sad, you know, but this can give you both a tool that is so good and so beautiful and so powerful. And we're uniquely made. Like this is not, you did nothing wrong. There's nothing broken. It's just you're unique. And so you have to grieve what you might otherwise wish was different and take ownership of what is and use that to empower your relationship.
Absolutely. And it's been super fun just as a sex therapist and in my sex therapy career, being able to see the empowerment for couples as they begin to learn and understand this. And a lot of times folks have thought, you know, I don't even know if I have an accelerator, right?
Yeah.
And as they begin to understand the brakes that are a part of their life, they understand that it's not that they don't have an accelerator, it's that they've had the e-brake pulled on hard by all sorts of different circumstances. And so it didn't matter how much accelerator is being pushed, it couldn't overcome the resistance of the brakes. But as they better understood themselves and understood their brakes, then they learn how to address those things that are cramming the brakes. And as that brake pressure backs off, it's like, oh, wait a minute.
Hey.
I'm feeling something.
Yeah.
What is this? I didn't even know that I knew how to feel these things or feel this way or have this experience. And it turns out that you're human and that you do have accelerators and that God did design you for sexual joy and passion and delight and desire. You just didn't know that the brakes were getting crammed and you didn't know how to address that in a way that freed you up to be able to have space to really experience and be aware of and understand what your accelerators are in a way that then empowered you to press the gas on those things. So it's incredibly powerful understanding that is game changing really for you and for your sex life.
I think additionally, sometimes we've grown up in the church, we hear so much about sacrifice and so much about putting others before ourselves that it can be hard to slow down and pay attention to our accelerators, to give ourselves permission to take pleasure in the things that give us pleasure and to spend time thinking about them, planning for them, leaning into them. And so I think this is just such a sweet thing that says, you know what? That's actually important and necessary and good. And God loves it.
He absolutely does. Like our sexual desire and enjoyment is something that He wired into us and that He delights for us to be able to enjoy and embrace. And He wants for that to be a vibrant part of our marriage. Like it brings delight to His heart that would be the case. And the scriptures are really clear. They don't say, love your neighbor instead of yourself. That's not what the scriptures teach. That's not what they communicate. The scriptures communicate love your neighbor in the same way as yourself. And so it assumes that when we are healthy in serving the Lord and following the Lord, that we are thriving ourselves and that we're caring for ourselves and that we're growing and enjoying life in its fullness for ourselves in the way that He wants to be shared with others. And so, a lot of times around the self-care piece, we look at it and go, really it would be bad if we loved our neighbor the way that we do ourselves.
Oh my gosh, so real. Yeah, it would be bad.
Right. So please, I've seen the way you take care of yourself. Do not love me as your neighbor the way that you take care of yourself. Like, thanks, but no thanks. I'll pass.
Yeah.
That. Like we
That's a good word.
don't carve out the space to care for ourselves in a way that allows us to pour into others out of the overflow of our life. But instead we're in this desperate, empty, and dry space. And we don't have anything to offer our spouse. We aren't able to show up with our kids the way we want to. We're not able to serve or love our neighbor in the way that we would want to. And so it's not selfish to engage in self-care and to really attend to this body that God gave us that is finite in nature and needs attention and care. It's actually a really important part of the living in the fullness of life that Jesus has for us. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us. We love doing life together. We love kind of sharing what the Lord has taught us through all the years of therapy and studying the neuroscience and studying the scriptures and getting to see how transformative that is in people's lives. For us to get to package that and share it with you in this context brings us a lot of joy. And so we're glad that you're here, and we're thankful that you decided to spend some time hanging out with us. And we're cheering you on, Cassie and I, as you mature into true happiness. And we're looking forward to having you back here soon.